So, hello everyone and welcome back. We are back with something really random. I was supposed to do 1980 today, but I'm going to do this with someone else together, and he's not here today, so instead I just decided to do something entirely random, which is going to be GP4 Season 2000, and I'm going to drive for arrows for this race. It's going to be full length, so full 58 laps, and we'll see how it goes. Probably not too well, knowing my tendency to screw up pretty much every race recently. So I'll probably going to last like 2-3 laps, if that many at all. But well, we'll see. For now, I'm just going to drop these stream to a couple places, and then we're going to have a wee look at the starting grid. So that should be it, and here we are. So Häkkinen starting from pole position, Frentzen second in the Jordan, Schumacher and Barrichello, the two Ferraris, on the second row, Trulli and Coulthard fifth and sixth, Fisichella and Salo 7-8, Ralf Schumacher and Eddie Irvine 9 and 10, my teammate Verstappen and Villeneuve 11 and 12, Wurz and Marc Genet 13 and 14th, 15 and 16th, Alesi and Heidfeld in the two Prosts, Herbert 17th, Zonta 18th, Diniz 19th, Button 20th, Mazakan 21st, and myself on 22nd after being not very smart during the qualifying, and I accidentally accelerated time after just one lap, and that was pretty poor, though at least it gave me an idea what to expect realistically. So I'm going to suck big time in these cars. And what I did off camera from 2012 has been a wee bit better. Hi Jan, and welcome to today's madness. So without further ado, let's do this and see whether or not I can last longer than 2 corners. It's gonna be a dry race and I'm aiming for 1 stop. Hopefully it's going to work out, or not, that remains to be seen. Right, let's do some racing. Oh, I have no idea what's going on here, why everyone is so slow into turn 1. Bit of chaos going on here. Well, Jan, that's a great question. I have absolutely no idea. I probably will, but that remains to be seen. I've got zero practice for Vantage. And that's a big accident right here. And that's one of the Ferraris in someone's front wing and wheels loose on the track. So that's Barrichello out of the race. And that's one of the Jordans out. And I have no idea what I'm doing. Somebody is going into the pits. You only see the grid. That's very interesting because the race is already going. Right, let me have a look at that. It's good that the game can be paused. That's very interesting. Right, let's try and fix that. Always good to take some time off mid race to figure out what's happening. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I know you can hear but can't see. And me, on the other hand, no idea why you can't see it. I mean, it's clearly set up. And this went so well that the game instantly crashed, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to stop this and be back once I manage to fix it. I was hoping that it's going to work as intended, but it clearly doesn't, and we may never know why. Right, so what else is there to be done? So first and foremost, let's start this again. Worst case scenario, I'm trying to do an actual quali, even though it was kind of fun to start from last and just trying to go through the field. Obviously didn't go the best I had hoped. Now, hopefully something's happening. And for now, it looks like it was working, and now it seems like it doesn't really anymore, which is very interesting, but I think I know how to fix this now, so we're going to go with that. And it keeps telling me things. Right, so hopefully this time it's going to work, but we can only hope that. So let's see. Unfortunately, the stream itself has a wee bit of delay, so now I can't see for sure. Okay, so now it looks good, which means that we're just going to drive. Not gonna bother with practice this time, just go straight to quali. So the thing is that this thing is a little bit sensitive, it seems, and basically as soon as I alt tab out of the game, then it's going to do some crazy shit and freeze or crash entirely. At least we know that now. And now I try to remember what my setup was, because I've been so very smart that I haven't saved that. So let's try this. Yeah, that's fine. I should be okay too. Just a bit lower. ARB springs, rebend. Right, let's just leave this as it is. So that's absolutely right, Jan. I can try and redeem myself with another round of quali, and hopefully I'm going to do better than I did the last time, because that hasn't been great. So leaving the pits. All right, mate, come on. And now everyone is leaving the pits. I need to be easy on the brakes. It locks up so easily. I can hear the car behind me more than my own engine. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Oh boy, please don't hit anything. Oh, good that we've got fuel for another lap. I really need to get used to these brakes. It's almost as bad as those 1938 cars. That's one of the Jordans died down in the straight. Well, this car is impossible to stop too. That's gonna be a bad lap. Understeer so badly. Right, let's try and bring it home. Right, I'm going to try it again. So far, this is going worse than it did before. Right, I'm going to head straight back out. And of course, they have to go out at the same time as me. I'll make sure I don't get a bit of empty space. To try and do a lap that's not entirely dog shite. I shouldn't be hitting that curb at all. Alright, let's try this again. Well, that's P21 for now. That was shit. So I might still have some time left. No, I don't. Oh, well, that's gonna be P21 then. Yet still everyone is going out, so... Oh well. So, that's... Oh, we don't need any warm-up. So that's Häkkinen, Schumacher, Coulthard, Frentzen, Barrichello, Fisichella, Villeneuve, Wurz, Irvine, Trulli, Ralf Schumacher, Verstappen, Salo, Zonta, Genet, Dennis, Heidfeld, Herbert, Alesi, myself, and Mazakan at the end of the grid. Can I just change the pit strategy because I forgot about that? Oh, great, I can. I want to go for a one stop and see how it works out. So that should be it. So Trace, hopefully it's going to be able to take it. Well, that remains to be seen. I mean, these tires had a pretty long life, so hopefully that's going to be the case this time as well. Oh, I fell asleep at the start a little bit. But quite a bit of contact in front between some of the cars. And I have no idea what Irvine is doing. Come on. Go, 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 go. I might have a little bit of damage after Irvine's shenanigans. Having trouble turning to the right. Yeah, that might have a little more than just a bit of damage. Shifting doesn't seem to work. When I downshift, it just gets stuck in gear. So with all said, we're off to a absolutely great start of this race. Somebody's already going off to the pits. And I caught the back of the grid. That's something, I guess. Yeah, that was Button who went into the pits. And I ended up spinning again. I knew I shouldn't be touching that curb, which I already said out loud once. That's somebody out or rejoining from the gravel. That was Villeneuve on the BAR. And that's my teammate Verstappen and I think Mazepin. You can't be serious. They're fighting for these last places as if it was the world title. Very scrappy race so far. If he was... If he would just stop pulling in front of me when I'm right behind him. Finally, something. Or side by side. And now I'm through. At least I'm beating my teammate. Somebody's in the pit. I'd love it if the car would actually turn. It does a lot of things except that. Mate, I simply can't downshift. I have to press it 5-6 times to switch once. And I'm getting blue flagged. Just fucking go! Oh, you fucking idiot. This was hard. Yellow flag up ahead. This is unbelievable. Fucking shitbox. And more blue flags after fucking 9 laps. At this point, I just retire. That's Herbert being pushed. Oh my god. What was that? That's another yellow flag. Mark Jeunet is out of the race. If the downshifts ever worked. Yeah, just fucking go. So again, I had to press it 4 times to downshift twice. That's not ideal. Again, pressing it 8 times. I just can't downshift whatsoever, pretty much. That wasn't what I planned. Did I push him out? Just a little bit. Again, 6 times to downshift. 4 times. Very good. Glad it's working. Oh, that was my bad. I was looking too much at the display. Oh, sorry, mate. My god. This car is so bad. Alrighty. Not that I have any motivation left to continue. Well, to be honest, I don't have that since the first lap. Since I got destroyed by Irvine. But at least I can get the stream of this thing working, which is a very good thing. Because it is kind of a pain. And don't get me wrong, it's still a great game. I absolutely love it. I think something is missing from my car. Something that's not the front wing. From that scratchy noise. We'll see soon enough. Actually, we might get away with a regular pit stop. But yeah, we might. I'll be led by Mazakan as well at this rate. Yeah, great. That was to be expected. Let me just pull over here and let's finish this. So that's Schumacher and the lead. Barrichello second, so that's a Ferrari 1-2. And my car just got removed. Trulli third. A lazy 15th. I think that goes by track position. Wurz fourth. Irvine fifth. Frentzen sixth. Sonta seventh. Hakkinen eighth. What's he doing down there? Verstappen 18th. No idea what happened to him either. So I think that's 17 drivers left. That's not a lot. Anyways, that was a very bad race on my end. Could have been much better. However, I still plan to continue and occasionally do some Grand Prix 4 videos, because in my opinion this game is still the best Formula 1 experience you can get. Say what you want, think what you want. It's a bit of a pain to get it working. Like, get your rig working with it properly, force feedback working. Kind of difficult, but it's totally, absolutely worth it. So once you make it work, then it's absolutely the best experience even today that you can get. So to everyone who actually wants to try it, also I highly recommend to have a gamepad or a wheel. It's kind of pain in the ass to play on a keyboard, as even if you turn off every assist, some steering assist will remain, and that will lead to some conflicts, as in what the game thinks you should be doing and what you think you should be doing. So definitely something for a gamepad or a steering wheel, though that's a bit of a pain in the ass to get working. But once you do, absolutely perfect. So absolutely worth the trouble you have to go through to make it work. Coulthard down to 14th. I believe he's been to the pits and he's on a 2-stop. And Verstappen is about to be lapped by Barrichello. And he lets them go. So yeah, despite having a poor experience with the driving today, I mean, I did like shit. Just happens sometimes. It's still the best experience you can get. And currently there are tons of mods out there, like I think from 1986 or 87 all the way up to 2025. But the era where this game works best and does its best is most definitely the 2000s, what the game was initially made for. I tried a couple of the 90s mods. They can be good, they can be alright. As in terms of that's Verstappen out of the race. So they can be good. However, the AI is not always very competitive, even on Ace difficulty. And I just showed the guys in my league yesterday. Like in a 2012 mod, I managed to start from pole position with a Caterham. Meanwhile, I started P21st with arrows in this race. So let's just say quality is varying, and it does so quite heavily. But ultimately, it's still worth it. And as I said, 2000s mods are absolutely fantastic. 90s or past or 2010s, not as much. There are some really good ones among those two. Like 1994 mod is absolutely amazing. It's one of the most fun mod I've ever played on this game. I also tried some of the early 80s, as there are a few. There are even some 50s, or I think even a couple 60s mods available. Obviously, game hasn't really been made for that kind of racing, so it doesn't work as well, and it's also quite hard to find tracks. In my opinion, driving like 50s or 60s Formula One on modern tracks, or tracks that look modern in terms of visuals, that's kind of killing the immersion for me. So I'd rather have. Oh, that's Coulthard a wee bit off. Outbroke himself quite heavily. So using very old cars on modern tracks is to me is kind of killing the immersion. So I'd rather have at least the time accurate layouts with, to some extent, time accurate visuals. Like basically that's what we're doing in the Vintage League on R Factor. We're trying to use as many time accurate layouts as possible for every track, and preferably with the old visuals. So no modern anything, so no fancy curves like these here. These guys are having fun here. 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's Villeneuve going through and pushes Coulthard off. That was a handful by Villeneuve. And I don't think Coulthard will be happy with that. And Schumacher is coming up to this pack. Mazakan is about to be lapped. Irvine in fifth. Well, did he just outbrake himself, or? No, that seems like the car is dead. It's going off the track. Yeah, all the way to the barrier. So, and there comes the marshal. So now that's one of the few suspension failure quality of life things that I think make this game absolutely awesome. And little things like this, the marshal coming in and just gets your car removed. And you'll see if we get to the end of the race. that basically there's just gonna be life at the end of the race here, and overall there is life in the game. So I think that's just one of the small things that makes it different and quite unique, as it was only, I think, this series that had these little things. And that's Salo and Button, while they're about to be lapped by Schumacher and Villeneuve in front of them. I wonder if Button is going to try for an overtake before they have to let Schumacher go. And the Zauber is actually covering the corner entry quite well, so Button has no chance, but he's getting a lot of slipstream, and he still can't overtake Salo. Häkkinen down to 11th. Well, we're just about halfway through, so I guess he's been to the pits. Others are still in their normal track positions, so maybe not. I'm not sure what's going on. And there ain't too many drivers left. 13th, 14th, 15th, and Mazakan 16th, and yeah, that should be all, as Villeneuve laps him. And Salo is still ahead of Button, and there comes Schumacher in the background. Well, not really in the background, actually right behind them. Frentzen is going to lap Diniz. Coulthard keeps braking very hard. Let's see how this is going to work out for him. Nice to see on his sector times that I wasn't actually much slower. It's even more unfortunate that I had that get together with Irvine at the early in the race, and then with my teammate a couple times, and then just touching these curbs that sometimes feel like ice. So Button lets Schumacher go. Salo does it as well. He had a look to pass alongside Schumacher, but it was too far to go for a move there. And the Mazakan is... I think he's trying to unlap himself, or at least he attempted to do so. Also, I think I'll probably do a couple videos of this game on a bunch of different seasons. I mean, I'm pretty sure whoever is watching this knows this game quite well, but just to give you an idea what's out there and how it works. Obviously, this will contain both the good mods and the bad mods. Oh, well, that's Frentzen driving with the engine on fire. I was suspicious when I heard that radio message to try and get back. That's basically they say that when your car is damaged beyond repair, and then just the engine went poof. Oil leak, yeah. Oh well. And that was the marshal up there waving the yellow flag. Well, that's one Jordan out of the race, and truly somehow second. So let's try and find out what happened to Barrichello. He's probably been to the pits. Apologies. So he's probably been to the pits, which would explain why he's down to fourth. Which probably means that Schumacher and Trulli has not been to the pits yet. Wondering how long he's going to stay out. He's not coming in just yet. Button and Salu are at it again. Meanwhile, behind them comes Hakkinen. Who just left Mazakan. And Button still couldn't overtake Salo. And that's Schumacher ahead of them in P1. As Fisichella laps Diniz, I thought that was an overtake. Coulthard 12th. Heidfeld, Barrichello on 4th. That's a little weird in that... Ah, no, never mind. Looking. I thought Barrichello is ahead, despite being 4th. No, he's not, so that's worth. Steadily on P3, being chased by Barrichello. And actually, the Ferrari is not too far behind. And that's Trulli coming into the pits. Do we have a better camera for this? So he's coming out. He's down to 4th. Actually by quite a margin. So Barrichello back up to 3rd. Wurz on P2 at the moment. It's actually very nice. Now let's try and find the Michael. There he is. Still on P1, and I'm wondering if Sonta in the pits. There he is. And there's been a bit of a tussle there as Zonta came out of the pits in front of Salo and Button, who are still battling. And he seems to be a little bit faster than those two. Villeneuve up to P6. And still a wee bit behind Fisichella. Wurtz in the pits, and that's a yellow flag. I wonder what happened. The only one here is Alazi. He's coming into the pits. I guess we'll never know why the yellow flag is out here. So Alazi pulling in. Was right there behind the glass wall. And now has been worked on. Villeneuve coming in. Alazi coming back out. Schumacher laps Dennis. And truly, no idea what happened. Had a wee bit of another adventure. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cars remaining. That's quite a bit of attrition. No 14. Hakkinen is coming back out. 8 seconds. Pit stop. Wood still on P3. Trulli now on P4. Fisichella, Coulthard got lapped by him. Not really the day McLaren was expecting. Zonta's going to lap Dennis. Things are a wee bit all over the place. Where's Button? They're quite far behind Villeneuve. I mean, he was in that pack of Villeneuve, Salo, Button. And where is Salo? I'm really curious. Oh, there he is. Quite a bit ahead, and that's Schumacher coming out for what seems to be his second pit stop. And absolutely undisturbed, still remains in the lead. And Barrichello is back up to second. No battle to be seen there either, as Salo is about to lap that guy. Zonta already did. Coulthard, Fisichella, Trulli, Wurtz. Well, there might be something between these two over time. Hakkinen on P10, he's going to get lapped by Wurtz. Button about to lap Mazzacane. Barrichello, Schumacher are lapping Villeneuve. Very interesting. Like, the whole field ended up splitting quite heavily. Just massive, massive differences. The two Zaubers behind each other on track. Not in terms of positions. Salo is 7th, Dennis is 12th. And he might get overtaken by Alesi. Or not. That was a very interesting way of defending. What happened to Wurz? He just did a fastest lap. So let's get back to this more interesting bet of this race. Alesi is still chasing Diniz. Sonta gets the fastest lap, 29.2. Alesi having a look side by side. And it seems Diniz is faster in the straight, but Alesi gets the job done under braking and takes P12. And Button finally manages to overtake Salo while he was in the pit. Mazzacane coming out. Wurz on P3. Lapping the Minardi driver. Trulli still on P4. Fisichella 5th. Sonta 6th. And Alesi already started pulling away from Diniz. I was watching how far Button got away from Salo. Not too far. That's Fisichella in the pits. Diniz is coming out. Fisichella down to 6th. And I think that's a net P5 for Zonta right now. As if I remember correctly, he's been out to the pits before Fisichella. And it seems Trulli is definitely getting close to Wurz. Diniz, meanwhile, rejoins. He's back on track after his pit stop. Diniz getting lapped. Schumacher is on lap 42. And that's a bunch of drivers lapping each other. Villeneuve will lap Alesi, and Barrichello is going to lap both of them. I crashed around about 20 laps ago or so, maybe a bit more. I just lost motivation and ended up being stupid. To be fair, I kind of lost motivation early in this race after I got hit by Irvine, and then my teammate just kept pulling stupid moves on me. By the way, he's out as well, so that's both arrows out of the race. So now we're back to the usual broadcasting. Schumacher gets the fastest lap. Dennis lets truly go. And I believe that Woods managed to open a bit of a gap. What happened to Coulthard? That's a great question that I asked not long ago myself. So far, all I've seen is him going wide and off the track a couple times. Other than that, no idea what's going on. I mean, both McLarens are in a pretty shite position. Coulthard 11th, Häkkinen 10th. And Häkkinen is about to be lapped by a fucking Benetton. And Button is going to lap a lazy. That's a lot of... Yeah, both McLarens are quite low. They're not having the time of their lives. Meanwhile, we got Trulli up in 4th. And Woods is about to lap Häkkinen. That's not the McLaren's day. The other Schumacher retired very early while I was still racing, and that was just a huge accident, I think, between Irvine or one or the other Jaguars and him and someone else. So here's our Ferrari 1-2 currently. Schumacher broke quite heavily there. So Wurz is past Häkkinen and Trulli is coming up. Salo on P9, Labdalesi on P12. Absolute bonkers race this. And somebody is out on the grass. That's Dennis. He's retiring the car. And that's the marshal running with the yellow flag. So what happened? Loose wheel. Well, that sucks. So again, little things like this. Car DNFing with a loose wheel. So at this rate, we're going to have less than 10 finishers. No, the game doesn't have safety cars. Probably that's the only feature it doesn't have. That was heavy braking by Barrichello. So Wurtz is 5.4 ahead of Trulli. So that means he Trulli still got a chance to make it to the podium. Taking that his engine doesn't pull the same as Frenzen's did. And Salo might actually catch back up to Button, and they can start their battle all over again. That would be nice. At least there would be some sort of excitement. As there's not a lot going on in the closing laps of this race. I need to find Schumacher to see what the lead lap is. 48. Yeah, 48. And Fisichella is past Coulthard. And Schumacher is coming up behind them. Zonta is going to lap Mazepin. Truly, he still hasn't got the move done. And at this point, this is good for Wurtz, who has now extended his lead by 3/10. Salo definitely going to catch up to Button. He's getting closer and closer. That's 1.8 seconds between them. That's just Barrichello going to lap Villeneuve. Truly lapped. Hakkinen, however, is 6 seconds behind Wurtz now, so I highly doubt that he's going to be on the podium. So I would say that the most exciting bet of this race is going to be whether Salo will be able to catch Button. It's currently 1.8 seconds. So Button has been a little bit faster this lap. Wurz is going to lap Alesi in the meantime. And Schumacher is going to lap Fisichella. Wurz is through. And still 6 seconds ahead of Trulli. So I guess no Trulli train today. Fisichella still on 6th, going to be lapped still. Barrichello will lap 2 drivers at once, Villeneuve and Coulthard. It's 1.7 between Button and Salo, 1.6 at the end of the lap. With just a couple laps to go. Let's find Schumacher to see the lead lap. That's lap 51. And Villeneuve tries to lap Coulthard. Schumacher tries to lap both. That was actually Barrichello, not Schumacher. It's a 1.5 between Salo and Button. Still 1.5 seconds. And they are nearing Coulthard. Which might give Salo a chance to get even closer. And then really make a push for it on the final lap. Even though it's P8 and 9, so no points for that. And we're nearing the end of this race. Button goes past Häkkinen. No, that's still not Häkkinen, but Coulthard. He also lets Salo through. And it's only 1 second between the two. With 5 laps to go as Schumacher is on lap 53. So 1 lap ahead of these two. 0.8. Salo is definitely the faster over the past 2-3 laps. Schumacher still hasn't lapped Fisichella. Probably going to. Well, so Häkkinen on 10th, Alesi on 12th. One lap behind Häkkinen on P10. That's certainly very interesting. 7.3, so Wurz is definitely much faster than Trulli. So we're back with Salo and Button, the current most interesting bit of this race. 0.8 seconds between the Williams and the Sauber driver. Can Salo take that position back? He held it for the vast majority of the first part of the race. Then he lost it under pits. Will he be able to get it back? Barrichello is going to lap a bunch of drivers there. Schumacher is getting close to lap Fisichella. Häkkinen lapped Alesi. There's not a lot of drivers left in this race. 0.9, so Button's been a wee bit faster in this lap. Managed to get away by a tenth. Still 0.9 between these two. So for now, Button can hold it. But they're nearing Mazakan. So he might lose a bit of time trying to lap the Minardi. That's Schumacher halfway into lap 56. Salo goes through. Not Salo, Button goes through. And this could be his chance while Salo is stuck behind the Minardi to keep that position. As now Salo goes through as well. 1.3 seconds. Definitely the winner of this is Button. Salo hasn't been as much faster that he'd be able to pull this off. And that's a yellow flag. Truly is out of the race. Electrical issues. Well, that's unfortunate from P4. So that brings Zonta up to P4. Well, shit happens sometimes. That's part of the deal. So Schumacher is starting his final lap and also pulled the fastest lap for good measure. And is potentially going to lap Fisichella on P5. So Villeneuve, the final point scorer. .7 between Salo and Button. So unlikely that there's gonna be any change in the current positions anymore on this final lap. And that's a lot of attrition for this race. So here comes Schumacher and is about to win the Australian Grand Prix.
Fantastic drive, great job.
That's Villeneuve coming through, Barrichello second, Button 7th, Salo 8th, Mazakan 13th, Wurz on P3, Coulthard P10, Häkkinen on P9 is still quite a bit behind. Häkkinen coming out of the final corner. And he's finishing 9th. Alesi is going to finish 11th. Zonta 4th. And Fisichella 5th. And as you can see, that's the race over. Alrighty, that was definitely a very interesting one. So let's have a look at the points. Schumacher 10, Barrichello 6, Wurz 4, Zonta 3, Fisichella 2, and Villeneuve 1. And that's a massive lead for Ferrari. 10 points already from the get-go. And altogether, 8 drivers finished. Oh, well, more than that. 13. So Diniz out, Heidfeld. I haven't even seen Heidfeld going out. Frentzen, I saw that with the fire, with the engine on fire. Irvine, Verstappen, I'm just DNF because I lost the wheel. Yeah, so that wasn't Irvine, but Herbert, the Jaguar that crashed with Ralph Schumacher. So, well, this was fun despite me fucking it up again. But it is what it is. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Goodbye.